Others say they look just like us, and they could be walking right next to you, and you would never know. Hey guys, I hope you're doing well. My name's Brittany, and if you're not subscribed yet, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I literally post multiple times a week, so you don't want to miss any of it. So today, we're actually going to be talking about the Tuatha De Danann. Fairies go under many different names, such as the good folk, the wee folk, the gentle people, the fae, and the other crowd. Now, the Sidhe was a type of fairy, and that Sidhe is spelled Sidhe. Now, it was believed that the famine was actually caused by the Sidhe. According to folklore historian Simon Young, there is the belief among some Irish potato growers that it was the fairies' disfavor that brought down the blight on that land. Fairy battles in the Sky Fairy tribes both fought and played hurling matches against each other. And this was interpreted as marking the onset of the famine, so essentially the victorious fairy army would curse the potatoes of the enemy's territory. Now, some people believed that fairies wouldn't grow more than 3 feet tall, but resembled humans in every other way. Their clothing was old-fashioned and their features were plain. Others say they look just like us, and they could be walking right next to you, and you would never know. But there is one thing that gives them away, and that is that they will have a strange look in their eyes. Now, some people say that they are beautiful beyond belief, and once you see one, your life will never be the same. Other people say that they are monsters from your wildest nightmares. Now, some people get trapped in fields for hours or even days after encountering fairy folk. And it's not uncommon for people to be tormented after cutting down a tree or a bush. Now, the fairy world is composed of the original fairy people called the Tuatha De Danann, or the people of the goddess Danu. Now, the Tuatha De Danann was an early Irish race who were skilled in magic and able to escape the physical death of the mortal man. They would entertain themselves by playing tricks on mortals and resided in fairy forts or razons, Rassans. The most common time for the Tuatha De Danann to play tricks on mortals were May 1st and October 31st, when the ethereal wall between the human world and the fairy world would be the thinnest. On these dates, people would get abducted and taken to the fairy world permanently, and these humans would be replaced by changelings. Now, to protect from these types of abductions, old people would actually place iron tongs across a cradle because it is said that the fairies cannot perform magic when confronted with iron, steel, or the Bible. Now, the reason it was across the cradle was to prevent an infant from being taken, because most of the stories about changelings are that it's infants that get taken. It doesn't mean that adults can't get taken or young children, but it's most commonly babies. Now, most fairies lived in underground caves with secret entrances into the fairy forts, which can still be seen today in different states of ruin on most of the hillsides in the surrounding countrysides of Ireland, which is pretty crazy. I would love to go and see those. I actually have family in Ireland, but I don't know their name, so I have no way of contacting them. I just know I have family in Ireland. Now, it is said that if you are lost in a fairy fort or fairy ring, that you should take your coat off and put it back on inside out, and that you should take your right shoe and put it on your left foot, and then spin around 3 times. And then you will be able to find your way out. Now, this is because fairies are said to fear madness and they believe that madness is contagious. Now, the Sidhe are very similar to humans in the sense that they fall in love. Now I'm going to tell you a little bit of history about the Tuatha De Danann. Now, the Tuatha De Danann were considered supernatural, angelic beings that came to Ireland and encountered two groups of people who they successfully overcame. One of these groups were called the Furbolgs. They were a short, dark race of men who derived their name from carrying clay in bags. They were believed to be of early Greek origin, and they were mortal. The other group were called the Fomorians. The Fomorians were another supernatural race. They lived in cold northern climates and were said to be evil and grotesque. They weren't settlers like the Furbolgs, but more like sea raiders. Now, the victory of the Tuatha De Danann was very short-lived. They were soon conquered by the Galaic sons of Mil from Spain. And after they were defeated, they were driven underground and lived in barrows. And it is said that they still live there today. Now, this new habitat led to the Tuatha De Danann being known by another name, and that name is the Sidhe. Now, the more common term fairy came from people refusing to call the Sidhe and the Tuatha De Danann by their real names, because it was said that it was bad luck. Now, in the Colloquy of the Ancients, which is a dialogue which supposedly took place between St. Patrick and the ghost of Cailleach of the Fianna. Now, Patrick was amazed to see a fairy woman coming out of the cave of Cruachan, wearing a green mantle with a crown of gold on her head. Whereas the fairy woman was young and beautiful, Cailleach himself was old and withered. When Patrick inquired of this, Cailleach tells him that she is of the Tuatha De Danann, who are unfading, and I am of the sons of Mil, who are perishable and fade away. Now, the uncertainties about the Sidhe made people seek to protect themselves. They would put iron on a barn or house, tying on a red ribbon or a religious amulet, or even sprinkling people or rooms with urine, which is absolutely disgusting. Now, it is also believed to be very dangerous to disturb fairy dwellings. If a person was taken to the fairy kingdom, there was cautionary tales that warned not to eat any of the food if you wish to return to the mortal world again. Now, it's actually really funny because for the life of me, I cannot remember the name of this movie. It was my favorite movie growing up. We didn't own it, but it would play on TV, and it was a cartoon. And these two children actually got taken to the fairy realm, and the brother ends up eating fairy food and is forced to stay in the fairy realm. And it was literally my favorite movie, and I cannot remember the name of it. So if you guys know what I'm talking about, definitely leave a comment below, because I would love to watch it. And I have tried for years to remember the name of this movie, and maybe I just imagined it in my head, but I can't remember it. Now, it was also believed that if you spent too much time with fairy folk, that you could get fairy stroke or poik shi and become all-knowing yet fools. Now, because fairies could use glamour, which was a type of magic, and could change their form or put on a cloak of concealment at will, attempts were made to keep them appeased. Food was left out for them, the first drops of milk were put on the floor for them, and walls would receive a libation of the first drops of whiskey from a still. Now, the Sidhe of subterranean mounds are also seen by the Irish as the descendants of the old agriculture gods of the earth. These gods control the ripening of the crops and the milk yields of cattle. Therefore, offerings were given to them regularly. Now, in the Book of Leinster, it says that after their conquest, the Tuatha De Danann took revenge on the sons of Mill by destroying their wheat and spoiling their milk. The sons of Mill were then forced to make a treaty with the Tuatha De Danann by leaving offerings of butter and milk to the good people. Now, the Sidhe have distinct tribes that are ruled by fairy kings and queens in each territory, so that kind of reminds me of Lord of the Rings, when, because when they get to, the kingdom with the elves, they have different, kings and queens depending on where they are. Now, many Irish folk refer to the Sidhe as the gentry due to their tall, noble appearance and silvery speech. They have their own palaces where they feast and play music and even battle with neighboring tribes. There are also the guardian Sidhe of most of the lakes of Ireland and Scotland. And there is a difference between the Sidhe that walk on the ground and the ones who fly through the air, taking people with them on their journeys. Because of these different categories of Sidhe, they're divided into wood spirits, water spirits, air spirits, and so on, each getting grouped according to the element that they inhabit. Now, the hawthorn tree is native to Ireland and is believed to be the dwelling place and watchtowers of the fairy folk. One lake where it is said that you can actually encounter many different Sidhe kings and queens is the Lough Gur in County Limerick, Ireland, which would be so cool to go to. Now, this lake lies within a circle of low-lying hills, but once every 7 years, it appears as dry land, where an entrance to the land of youth may be found. The lake guardian is known as Toish Bjarn, also known as the Lazy One, because she neglected to watch over the well from which the lake sprang from. Now, it is believed that once every 7 years, a mortal dies by drowning in the lake and is said to be taken by the Bian Fionn, which is the White Lady. Now, it's natural to fear the Sidhe, but it's even more important to respect them. Just because we don't see fairies doesn't mean that they don't exist. We believe in fairies, like the next person believes in God, angels, or miracles. Now, personally, I have always believed in fairies. Always. My belief in them has never wavered. I've always somewhat felt like it was my purpose to more so bring the worlds together, which might sound super strange, but it is said that one day we're going to need them. And if we don't accept them and we don't create a mutual benefit, since, humanity is what drove them underground and into hiding, that it will be the end of everything. Now, that is a legend, but it is something that I do believe. And I also believe that nature is so important to be taken care of. And as you can see, I actually have this shirt. So it says, "We need you, no tree, no we." I got this shirt and I went to I showed Jeff it, and I was like, it was a very me shirt. And he looked at it, he's like, yes, that's a very you shirt. Definitely, make sure that you're taking care of the world around you. Everything around you has energy, and I know how I feel when I'm out in nature. I feel so much better, and maybe that sounds crazy, but just taking a walk around trees, it lifts my mood a substantial amount. And when I'm away from them too long, I feel very down. And if any of you can relate to this, definitely let me know, because maybe it's just me, but we're all connected. And I think it's so important to take care of the nature around you. And the fairy folk are not going to want to show themselves to you and be around you if you're disrespecting nature. And I think it's pretty crazy. So essentially, you guys, the Tuatha De Danann, the Sidhe, are also the fairies. They're all the same. They started as the Tuatha De Danann, and now they're the fairies as we know them. I'm actually going to insert a great book. I read it in my senior year of high school. My teacher gave it to me. She actually bought it, and she's like, I thought of you. So she read it, and then she let me borrow it, and it's an amazing book. And it's actually based on a true story about this guy's encounter with the Sidhe. So essentially, he finds this symbol. So he draws the symbol, and he actually starts communicating with them. So definitely check out this book. I have to buy it again because I obviously don't own it because I borrowed it from her. But it is an amazing book, and I definitely recommend to check that out. So I want to know what you guys think of the fairies. I remember, so I used to go to work super early in the morning because at the time Jeff and I only had one car, and he used to drop me off at the mall where Box Lunch was, where I worked, at like 6 a.m. So I have to wait until I worked so I would read. I'd sit in the food court with a book, and I would just read. And I was actually reading a book about fairies, and I swear I saw one like sitting down out of the corner of my eye, this little winged creature just sitting on the table. And obviously it wasn't like straight on, so it could have been my imagination. But I texted Jeff and I was like, I just saw a fairy. But I'm pretty positive, like I know what I saw, but I just don't know if it was like, maybe it was in my head because I was reading about them. But I have read and heard that if you are researching or reading about them, that they're more likely to appear to you. And they're more likely to appear to you in like the countryside. So let me know if you guys have had any interaction with fairies and just what you guys think of all of this. And if you like this video, please give a big thumbs up. And if you have not subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button. Right now, I think I'm at 883 subscribers, which is absolutely amazing. I adore you guys so much, and I love talking to you guys. And I literally look at you guys as like family. And I know that sounds really cliche, and I know you probably hear it a lot, but you guys cause me so much joy. Like, I could be having a rough day, and I'll read one of your guys' comments, and it will instantly make my day amazing. And I feel so blessed to be able to experience that. My first goal, obviously, I have multiple goals, but my first goal is 1,000 subscribers. So we are almost there, you guys. So if you have not subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button and join our family. And I hope that you guys have an amazing rest of your day. And remember, be kind to nature. And I will see you guys next time.